Well, it's tax time, and like everyone else, you got to file your taxes. And if you're a reseller, there's so many things and questions that you're going to have as far as sourcing, mileage, what deductions can and not take. So that's what we're here to do. Here at Adam Up Accounting, if you got questions or looking to get your tax return filed, go ahead and reach out to us. Go to the website, adamupaccounting.com. You can reach out to us here on the podcast at Deathpiles and Taxes. We'd love to help you out, put you in the right directions, take care of your taxes so that you can feel with some reassurance that your taxes are getting taken care of properly. So there you go. Look forward to tax time and hope we can help you out.
We sell your items online. Go ahead, declutter your life. Have a yard sale or let eBay do the work. From the thrift store shopping to that wallet popping, there are two things in life that are certain. Deathpiles in Texas. With Derek Everitt and Adam Beesley.
D-Roy, it's time for Deathpiles and Taxes, and I hear you are the king of customer service.
Well, I used to be. I try to be. I like to be. And, I when did this stop? When I was raised, we were taught, treat people how you'd like to be treated. Is that, something you're familiar with?
I'm absolutely familiar with that term, and that reminds me of something else that I'll get into, but you keep going.
At some point, that seems not to be the way things are anymore. So, as you know, I have a specific niche. We talk about it all the time. I resell, a majority of what I'm reselling right now is pro wrestling cards that have been graded. Pretty much, one of the few guys in the market that has a large collection. We've had some of the other guys on the show that are kind of big in that world. There's not a whole lot of us, so we all kind of know each other, and we talk on the Twitter.
And when he said big in the world, he wasn't referring to size. He was just talking about their mass in the community.
Both.
Okay.
I'm probably both.
There's some Husky section guys. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, we're pro wrestling guys,
That's true.
There's some girth.
There is some girth.
Nothing to be ashamed of there. So, the other day, I get an offer on a card, and it's not even a graded card, but it was kind of like a specialty card that had a piece of a table in it from a match that the guy went through the table and broke. It was autographed, and it was, 1 of 99 or something like that. So it's a pretty cool card, and the guy makes me an offer on it, and he offers me, a couple $100 or whatever he offers me, and I accepted the offer. So a couple days go by, and I get a message from the seller or buyer. I guess I'm the seller in this scenario, and it says, "Hey man, just letting you know." Well, I'm paraphrasing all this, so I'm just going to tell you from my point of view, paraphrasing. But we've all dealt with customers before. Hey man, I didn't think you'd accept that offer. Afterwards, I'm not very patient, so I went to this other Facebook group, which is another podcast that deals with wrestling cards. And found somebody in there that sold it to me for a lot less. So just let you know, I'm not going to pay you.
Ouch. You do not mess with the king.
And so I'm like, I'm not very patient either. And you made me an offer, and I accepted the offer. So as far as I'm concerned, you owe me X amount of dollars, or, I'll just let eBay go through the process, and you can get a ding on your account. But I'm not just going to cancel it because you found it for cheaper. I don't know why this guy's willing to take a loss, because I know what the item cost. I bought it from Phil at, new cost. And if you got it for that much cheaper, whatever, that's fine. But you made me the offer. So guy responds back and like smiley, winky face, ha ha ha, like I can take a ding on my account or something like that. So, not very professional, not very great. And so
don't mess with D-Roy. That's all I can tell you.
And I've been at this game for a while. I've been on eBay, and I've dealt with people before. People send back things. I get it. You take some returns sometimes. I've talked about customer service. Even if he'd have thrown out the stupid excuse of I accidentally bought that, I didn't want it, I probably would have just canceled it, relisted it, been done with it. But where you said, hey, I offered you this money, and now I'm not going to pay it, that rubs me the wrong way. You made the offer, I accepted it. And when you go on further, I'm like, hey man, like you did this, like, I'm not just going to cancel it. Like, you owe me the...
My kid accidentally bought it.
Even that would have been better when he's, you know, a laughy face and, well, I'm not going to pay it to you, and I don't care if I get dinged on eBay, I can afford it. So I go to the Facebook, I go to our friend group, and I'm like, hey, what would you guys do in this scenario? You know, just throw it out there, because got a few sellers, and then I just got a few. Our friends are very educated. We got a wide amount of people from different fields, and just some different, you know, points of view on things is always good to get. And then I went over to Twitter and to the wrestling card community, and I blocked out the name, and I said, hey, what would you guys do if this in this scenario? And albeit the first guy that doesn't respond to me is David Peck, who we haven't had on the show yet, but he's like him and Rob. We've had Rob on the show.
They're the Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. They're pretty big. David's been in the PSA magazine. He's got the biggest collection of the 1982 All-Star Hogans, which are the, you know...
For those of you that are unfamiliar with wrestling, he's basically the Mario and Luigi. That's pretty good.
They're a big deal. So anyways, in this world of this collection that this kid's in, this is like the Godfather. I don't know. And he's
the
like,
Gambino family.
Well, first off, I didn't block his name so we can all see who it is and put him on our don't sell to list.
Uh-oh.
And put him on the old block list. And I said, I'm thinking about that, but I thought I'd see how he responded first. And whatever. And, you know, a few other people chimed in. Rob chimed in. Our buddy Zan chimes in. The podcast that he referenced, the Facebook group where he made the deal with, chimes in. And I said to those guys, I said, you guys have a good podcast. I don't mind it, but you just need to be aware that this doesn't make you guys look good when, you know, they're throwing your name out there. I know you had nothing to do with it. It's just your Facebook group, but you need to educate these younger people newer to the hobby that there's not a whole lot of us out here, and you really don't want to upset us. Like, you don't want to throw, because then that was after the LOL, what you gonna do kind of thing came out. I was like, you don't want to not be professional, and you don't want to burn bridges, because all of us are connected. If you want to buy anything, basically, you know, you're buying it from one of these, you know, 20 people that we're dealing with for the most part.
So pretty much what happened is this guy basically told D-Roy to pound sand, even though he offered to pay. He's the one that offered the amount. Derek accepted it, and then this guy weaseled out and found it somewhere else for less money, and Derek called him out on it, and then basically put him on the blacklist.
So what happens is, so the guy, I mean, you know, I'm just going to let eBay do his process, open an unpaid item on him, he'll get a blemish. Not really a big deal probably for him. If that happens enough times, a lot of us have parameters up that these people can't buy from us if they've done this one or two times, and it's been documented. A lot of times people will just cancel the order and relist, and the person doesn't get any blemishes on the account, and they can go buy stuff. I'm in the camp of hold them accountable, get a few blemishes so that they can't be buying and do this to the rest of us. But anyways, long story, not so short, because it's a podcast, I'm going to tell it. I'm talking to our buddy Zan. Zan's like, well, let me show you my block list. And our buddy Painter and everything's like, he's on my block list. So this guy got blocked by a lot of the top guys. He got blocked by the people in the podcast that he was referencing, some of the bigger fish out in the sea, so to speak. So he really didn't do much good for himself. And one of these days, he's going to go to buy a card, and he's going to wonder, why can't I buy from this individual? And I don't know if they'll know or not to respond, but they'll just say, hey, you're on my block list. Either you mess with me or you mess with somebody I know.
No soup for you is pretty much what you told this guy. So lesson be learned is, you know, we all get it. Buying and selling, like, there's instances, you know, everybody wants a deal. You know, everybody wants to make money. But if you're honest with people to a T, like, don't do something that you wouldn't want to have somebody else doing to you.
If you make an offer to somebody and they accept it, as far as I'm concerned, you pay that. If you can get cheaper, then you got two of them, sell one, keep one, but you made the offer.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at on things. So sometimes we have financial things come up, whatever. Hey, if he made me the offer and said, hey, I just lost my job, there's things I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just got in a car wreck, need a new car, medical things come up. I mean, totally understandable, but I just hate the attitude that came out. And I think it's a little bit of this, it might just be in the wrestling card world where it's usually good transactions, but it's kind of this newer generation coming up of the, well, what are you going to do about it? Hey, old man, get off my lawn. You know, it's kind of like the testing the things, and I'm like, I'm not playing around. I like what I do. I like this business. I like this community. But you're not even coming here and you know, get away with this kind of stuff. It's just not going to happen. Maybe that's the one thing where it is a smaller world. Maybe if it was baseball or football cards, okay, not a big deal. There's thousands of sellers. But when a majority of the card collectors are in an inner circle and we all talk amongst each other in my genre, and I said, hey, this guy's a bad egg, and they all put him on the the block list, it's not a good way to do your business.
It's like rolling into Las Vegas and telling, the mob families, telling the Binions, the Wins of the world, like that you're going to do better than them, and eventually, at some point, you're going to end up in the dry lake bed in a shallow ditch. That's all I'm saying.
If you get caught cheating at the card games at the table, and they ban you from the casino and don't cut off your hand, you're not going to be able to drive across town because words got out that you're trying to cheat people, and that's not really welcomed in a lot of places.
Don't get on the list. So, Derek, you brought up something because making offers. I always like to look at unique items too. Right now I have a lot of this kind of nostalgia, kind of like older stock certificates, older things that are over 100 years old, and where we live here in Utah, it's big mining places that used to be around us. And I found this Chieftain Mining Company certificate that somebody had up for $75, and I made him an offer for $50, and we'll see what happens. Because
I'm pretty sure you'll own that.
I think I'll own that, and I think it's a pretty cool piece of history.
If you do, you just don't say, I found another one for cheaper, and I'm not going to pay that for it.
You take the offer on that.
Well, and Adam brings up some of these things that he's into, and just to throw it out there, I just like reminding people, people will always say, well, who would buy that? Or why, you go to an estate sale and you find this kind of stuff, and you're like, it's just junk and throw it away. And I say, no, list it on eBay, see what will happen. Well, who would want that? Adam wants that. It's a piece of history. It's cool. He's going to frame it up, I'm sure, or do something nice with it. And it's going to be a collection that he looks at. It's over 100 years old, stock certificates, different things, mine, shares, and that kind of it's just, you never know who's into what, and see what the market is out there. You'd be surprised. Old postcards, old maps of towns. And I'm going to tell you something.
Usually for Christmas, for a lot of our business clients, and I might have brought this up already, but I just reminded me as I'm looking here at my watched items, purchased items. I got one of my clients, an individual guy, is huge baseball guy. His checks, back in the world when he wrote checks, even had the San Francisco Giants as a part of the check that he wrote in it. And anyways, it was Christmas time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get him something that he's never thought of before or that he'd appreciate. And I was able to find replica World Series rings, the whole set. And I got that for him, and it knocked his socks off him. It showed that, he cared, and he really, really appreciated it. But it was fun. It was me, kind of the same thing, mining, golding, finding something that somebody's going to appreciate that nobody else has ever thought to give them. So when you really kind of, drill down and find out about people, there are some things that have sentimental value versus just, a churn and burn or use or stack up in the corner that it's not going to do anything for anything.
Yeah, there's a lot. And Christmas and holidays and stuff, there's a lot of us that are kind of hard people to buy for, and I get it. Some people just go out and you just get what you need a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Or you don't wait till a certain day to get it. So, but if hey, Adam's into some old, he likes. I come in his office, I see some old signs on the wall, I see some different decoration stuff. I'm like, he's kind of into this stuff, and I gotta get him something. I go and find an old stock certificate. Most people probably wouldn't like it, but Adam, that might be right up his alley, or vice versa. There's, I found a Superfly Jimmy Snuka 1980 sticker. Who cares? But give that to Derek. I'm over the moon. That's awesome. Thanks, man. So just get to know the people.
He'll rub your Jimmy Snuka. That's what you got him.
We'll Superfly. But there's a lot of people out there that, you get to know them a little bit. You give them something a little more personalized or a little more into their niche, or from the seller perspective of just, hey, who knows why, but people like this kind of stuff. And if you're able to find it at estate sales, you find it at storage auctions or whatever, instead of just throwing it away. And it might be something that sits on eBay for a while, and that's okay to some extent. If you got, obviously there's space and limits, and we all want our stuff to sell overnight, but if you put the stock certificate up that you got for, I don't know, you probably found it in an estate seller cleaning out Grandpa's desk. You probably didn't pay much, if anything, for it.
Yes.
And it can sit there 2 or 3 years. It's a piece of paper, and you can get $50 for it. If I tell you I'll give you a $50 bill in 6 years if you hold this piece of paper, why not? That's my thought.
Done. I don't know. I forget because I go through kind of spurts up and down about looking at stuff on eBay, and I spent some time last night. I watched a video, a PSA video talking about cards that have been submitted and different things. One kid had the upcoming superstars or potential for the World Cup, and I'm like, hey, buddy, you're late. I already did this a year and a half ago. I already submitted my stuff to PSA, so I feel like I'm ahead of the game.
And you submitted at a lot lower price because PSA just came out. They just lowered their economy per card now is $50.
Yes,
so
and we were getting it back when they were $8, $12 time.
We might have paid $20 or $25, but I mean it was definitely less than $50.
It was way less than $50. So every quarter, at the end of every month, PSA, one of the biggest graders. In fact, I sent this out yesterday. And I want to quote the numbers correctly. Let me make sure I have it. You keep going. Let me find the exact.
He doesn't want to give out the false numbers because this is a very informative show. Now, Adam, when you tell me to talk, I don't know if I can sit here and talk while you try to find something like that. Yeah. I've been told I'm bashful and shy. I don't have much of a motor mouth, and there's not much to talk about. But what Adam's talking about is PSA cards. We covered it a lot. It's kind of what we've been selling. And the market is kind of getting to a point to where things are starting to come back on it. So, what, you find it?
No, well, we have a friend text group, and there's sometimes, I mean, there's 116 messages that I missed, but I missed this one. There's a picture of a sink with I'm guessing his spouse, his significant other. She has a gajillion hair curling items, makeup thing, a gajillion all around it, and then it says, you left the toilet seat up. That gave me the chuckle.
Oh, okay. So Adam's going back through. He wants me to keep talking while he goes to find somebody. He's in a friend text group. Very professional. I can see why people would come here to do their taxes with you and get money done.
That's where I texted it to, because you guys are the guys that we talk to.
Why didn't you save it? Go to your pictures that you sent out. It should be in your pictures, right?
No, it was another thing. Okay, here it is. So what happened in the last 12 months, it says eBay sales containing the word PSA in the title. 1.2 billion with a B is the amount of sales that eBay had with the title PSA in the title. With BGS, that would be Beckett, there was 324 million. And with SGC, there was 67 million. So
that's a lot. That's a lot.
PSA is by far the big dog. We're talking 1.2 billion sales in the last 12 months.
I came to a conclusion today, Adam. I'm not sure I trust any billionaires.
No. Elon's changing the world, man. Whether he's crazy or not.
You trust him?
I would trust him enough to open a space rocket.
Some trust. Go ahead.
That's a lot of trust. Well, what I'm saying is PSA kind of is, they are, the top tier. The other companies are trying to catch up, but they always give out a list of different areas, different cards. We don't talk a lot of the Magic the Gathering, Pokemons. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Logan Paul got scammed into a $3.5 million box that wasn't really true, but I don't know. There's some things around that I'm not quite sure of, but submitting things to PSA, it's changing. It's supposedly getting quicker, getting more expensive, but just knowing it's not that hard. When I say it's not that hard, like, go out on a limb, try something new. If you want to get into it, you may have a Mickey Mantle card. You might have a Reggie Jackson card that's old that you might be like, hey, I think this has some value. Like, send it in, figure it out. Like I said, the only way to learn is to actually do it there, D-Roy. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
What's in the drink cup, Adam? It's been a while since we've told people what we're drinking.
With coconut. I've got a problem. That's why I drink a lot of Diet Mountain Dew.
Does that got a fancy name, or is it a dirty do, or what?
No, it's just I go make it myself. I just go in.
You squeeze the coconuts, or what?
I've been into enough establishment here in Utah. Like, it's just basically like Starbucks. You go get your coffee, your frappe, whatever. The lines are forever long. If you like a flavored soda pop, they are out the window, out the line. But they can't make it the way I can make it. I like my
barista.
I like my pebbled ice to a certain level in the cup. I like the.
Let's break down the ratio. Where does your pebble ice go to?
About 3/4.
For people that don't know, there's a pebble ice, and then there's a certain kind of ice that's kind of like the Sonic ice. for those probably in the Midwest.
I don't know how we got here, but pebbled ice will change your life. About 3/4 cup. I like to put in about half Diet Mountain Dew, then go squirt in the coconut.
Now, how many squirts we talking?
Then, 3 or 4. But it depends on which brand it is, because each gas station has its own type of coconut, and one's really, really good. So, that's my drink of choice.
And then you top it off with a little more dew? Or
a little more dew. You get it all the way to the top, maybe a little more ice, and you just enjoy life.
All right. I just saw the cup over there. We used to do 30,
We used to do
everybody.
30 it up quite a bit. We haven't done that for a while.
I've been off the gas for a bit, and I don't bring it in here and shake it around. So
No, you don't anymore. So I wanted to, like I said, numbers always mean a lot to us. Everything. Last year, PSA sent back out 8 million cards. They're doing about, in November, they did about 811,000. So they're significantly moving up. But getting into the the areas, because that's where basketball was 235,000, Pokemon 213,000, baseball is 150,000, football 115,000, and Yu-Gi-Oh was at 23,000.
You're missing my wrestling on there.
That's because your wrestling isn't in the top 5. Neither are my Star Wars cards.
That's a good
Neither
thing.
are my soccer cards.
I like that.
We're really hitting the niche areas.
I like a small niche. I like something that's not saturated because of those. We were talking with Rob England to bring that back up again, and he was talking to people over at PSA, and they said that, they just have the same Mike Trout card they look at 500 times a day. So when they get something a little different, it's kind of nice for them. Not to say that there's not money in baseball's always had some money. Basketball recently really came on, but there's going to be a saturation of some sort. Obviously, the higher graded, the more rare the card, there's going to be some value there, but also the more graded the card, the bigger the population of whatever the generic card is.
Yeah.
It's going to decrease the value a little bit too. So
obviously, your Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. is a cool card, but the Mother's Cookie or Slurpee or whatever off-brand, the Bazooka Joe, the population's a lot less, which means it just has more value.
It's a lot harder to get, especially if it's something people are looking for and a guy and a player they're looking for. If it's the Bazooka Joe of, Oscar Frazier, I don't know, some name that I was trying to make up there that no one's ever heard of.
Oscar Frazier.
Yeah.
I believe you just put Walt Frazier and Oscar Robinson together.
Yeah, if they were to have a kid that played baseball, probably wouldn't be that good of a player, so he probably wouldn't want that card.
I found it. I remember I saved an article. I found you in a New York Post article.
Well, thanks.
I
appreciate
found
that.
you. This just happened a week ago. Not even a week ago. This was 4 days ago. Mom, this is unreal. I can't believe you did this. But it says, man sues his mom over a pricey baseball card. This guy is suing his mom over a 1953 Ralph Kiner and Satchel Paige card that are allegedly worth $25,000.
Why didn't you just wait for mom to die and get them?
Mom's 82 years old, and allegedly mom bought these cards for her son in the 80s, but at the time, obviously he didn't know what he was going to do it, and she just held on to him. But this champ, is suing his mom over the cards that she bought him, and I cannot believe that you would come to that low of a low. When she's 82, when she dies, you're going to get them anyways, D-Roy. Why did you have to go and do that?
Well, it's not me.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
I just, it's something that you would do. You're that kind of a guy, right?
If you say so, you're my friend, so if that's how you feel about me, I guess I'm not going to sit here and argue. My character, I might be looking for another podcast host to come and do this show with me, if that's how you feel about me, but that's another story for another day.
I know. I just saw that, and I knew it was going to come. I cannot believe that somebody would sue their own mother over...
Or just go over to her house and steal the card. She's 81 years old.
82.
She's probably got a lot of things going on. I doubt it's just sitting on a mantle somewhere. You go over, do a little cleaning or whatever, and you just take it, pocket it out with you, and she's not.
How is that going to come?
He's probably living in the basement, so you don't even have to. I don't know.
How is that going to come across at the I don't know, whatever you want to call it, the judgment bar, where you become accountable for whatever good things, bad thing, dumb thing, and it's like you sued your mom over a baseball card that she kept from you because you were going to destroy it. I don't know how you.
I don't get into family relations or judgment talk, Adam, on this show, so I'll just go ahead and say, yeah, I don't know.
I just thought that was a funny story there.
It's a good one. So, what you got coming up this week? Where you at? What flips you doing? We selling, we listing, and you got the intern coming in. You just got the house sold. What's on the game plan?
So right now I am in a big organization type thing. I got a lot of stuff in here. Like I said, I'm working on the new studio. I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna get some different items put up in there. I'm gonna kind of make it be the way I want it to be in there. So I'm trying to declutterize because I've got my stuff kind of in all different places. I got some tickets that I'm going to submit to PSA, kind of all in this section. Got some Tiger Woods stuff. Got some old Rose Bowl stuff. Some unique of my own personal area. Which brings me up. I've got a real good question for you. Which that's kind of a thing. I'm in an organizational thing before it really hits hard tax season. Or spend a little bit of time Friday and Saturday doing that. But I was able to find my first concert ticket that I'm going to send in to get graded just so that I have it, kind of put it in my memoir, my mantle.
What's that thing that a lot of the people have? You go in their house and it's like
my whole chest?
Your Cheerio cabinet or whatever.
Cheerio.
What's that called?
I think it's called Carrio.
Your Cheerio cabinet. Adam's got this hope, dream, and
aspiration.
Once he was married, Katie got to open up this trunk that he brought with him with all these things to prepare him for life.
Yeah, so what was your first concert that you ever attended?
Well, are we talking like official had a ticket or
official ticket?
Because my Uncle David was in a band called like Junction 61, I believe, and they play a lot of weddings and county fairs and that kind of thing.
Which I've heard them before. I've been to a reception and they were there.
So I've went to a few of those concerts when I was a little younger. I believe the first concert that I went to, it was a Creedence Clearwater Revisited concert up at Wolf Mountain, where a bunch of our friends took our fathers for Father's Day when we were just right about 15 or 16 years old. It was up on the mountain. It got a little crazy. One friend might have had to hold a adult beverage for a lady. He lit a cigarette for her with his dad sitting right there. We had people. It was up at the ski lodge, and so people might have been a little hallucinogenic at the time. They were climbing up the ski lifts, and one guy was having Vietnam flashbacks. And that was my first concert.
Hold on, we what band was it?
CCR, Creedence Clearwater.
Give me a song. Help me out.
Born on the Bayou, Fortunate Son.
Okay, all right. I'm familiar.
John Fogerty. This was the band. They broke up, so this was without Fogerty, but it was
Okay.
We got there we could hear him playing Cotton Fields before we got in. We were there a little early. It was a good time. We learned a lot of life's lessons, and there was a couple ladies that may have been hitting on my dad and one of my other friends' fathers, and they wanted him to come over to the Steve Miller band that was playing at the State Fair Park the next week, and they were, no, we're married, and they had little booze bottles that they snuck in their purses. They were asking if they wanted a hit. It was a good. We learned a lot.
I think we're going to hit another Father's Day version. It's coming up here pretty quick. I think we're going to have a list of things that I'll bring up that we can either deny or not deny. Because if my memory serves me right, haven't you been to an Ozzy Osbourne concert with Father Denny?
It was Alice Cooper.
Oh, that's right. Alice Cooper. And he may or may not have bit a bat's head off during the concert.
Denny was like he was a 20-year-old kid again, singing the songs and dancing along, and it was an interesting night.
True rumor. Isn't that how Rona started?
That could have been. It might have been from Alice Cooper or Ozzy Osbourne. Something with bats, the Szechuan flu, I don't know. But it's a good possibility that might have been ground zero.
My first concert was, I found the ticket. It was at the Sunset Station in Las Vegas. A young man, pre-age 18, I think it was like 17-ish. And it was Clay Walker. And Clay Walker, a fringe, large country singer back in the mid-late 90s. So, and I had that ticket, and I still remember the concert, quite well. Myself and a friend and I went, and we had a good time had by it. Let's just say that.
Underage and in the casino. I'm sure you're not sharing any of your stories for probably good reasons.
There's no stories to share.
Just singing along.
We had a lot of good times.
Singing along to all the songs. And what was good? What was his big hit?
Oh, man, I can't even. I'll have to look.
Yeah, well, you're thinking about that. Let me share this with you. Me and Adam went to a concert. Boy, it's been a while ago.
We've been to several together.
This was a Merle Haggard concert that we went to back before we were both married. There's a little gambling town on the border. We've talked about it a few times on this show called Wendover, Nevada, and we'd go out there and have a good time and gamble or do whatever we do. But this is back when we were probably in our early 20s. And we drove out there, went to this Merle Haggard concert, and we were the youngest ones in there by far. There's people on their oxygen tanks and stuff, and we were just good young kids, and they were happy to see us. And anyways, it was a good concert. I found the ticket stub a few months ago, and I got it graded. I have it up for sale on eBay right now. I had where you can send out offers. I've had people interested, so I'm willing to sell one of my memories with Adam for a certain price on eBay.
I have the same ticket, so... it'll be population of 2 when I send mine.
Right now it's a 1.
Rumor has it that was one of his hits. Live Until I Die. It's been a while. I don't listen to that type of genre as much anymore. But there was some good. Who Needs a Baby? The Chain of Love. I mean, there were some good ones in there.
He hit them all that night. I'm sure.
He did hit.
Was that the same station that OJ hit up a little later in life?
No, that was Palace Station, which I've been there. Palace Station's a different station. Good places there.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing we're talking about. Memories, early connections, different things. Just find what sells for you and work it, and whether or not that's old tennis shoes or if that's concert tickets. One good thing I would do is go to your mother's house and see what concert tickets she has. And if she won't give them to you, you sue her for them. And you go ahead and you go through that Cheerio cabinet and you go ahead and get all that and get it listed over on eBay. You sell it to me and Adam. You put it up on Boogers, or you go ahead and get it graded and do it yourself.
And I'm a big fan of capturing moments, especially now. The older you get, I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. Derek's almost there. He's working on it.
I'm a young pup. Still wet behind the ears.
Just talking about that, thinking about that memory when you're 15, that's going to mean a lot, just thinking about your experience, but then also what it was like for your dad at that moment. And now... Well,
to look back, my dad was closer to my age now at the time.
He was 40, he was 25-ish when he had you, and now you're coming to that point where it's like, wow, I might... And it's weird to think about, because I can remember when my dad turned 40, and you're in that thing, and there's different stages.
And the old, what's that? The Little Boy Blue and the Man in the Moon.
Yes.
What's that song?
The Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle, Adam. That's where I was going.
I'm a big fan of capturing those memories. Not necessarily always, in a video format, but you can hit a record button on an audio thing, especially with the podcast, because my kids will hopefully listen to this at one. Maybe they won't. Maybe I can't stand that guy.
I had to hear this all growing up. But once you're dead and stuff, a couple of years after that, they might want to just hear your voice.
I'll share a fun experience with this lady, one of my neighbors. I had a chance to go over and make sure she was doing okay. Older widow. She was in her 80s. And I got talking to her, and somehow I was able to find some information. We were talking, and I was able to look up and found some pictures of her and her husband. And her husband was a police officer. And this was in the 1960s, and there was a picture of her and him as a young couple, like teenagers. And I asked her, hey, how did you meet your husband? And man, her eyes lit up. It was just the best experience that she had. And she says, well, we used to roller skate together. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, we used to roller skate, and I was really good, and so was he. But I didn't like him. Okay, well, what do you mean? He's like, he was older than me. He was 18 and I was 16. And I didn't like him because he would go outside and smoke and drink on his work breaks. And I did not like him. And she says eventually they ended up getting married. But I can guarantee that she had not had that experience or that moment. And I was laughing. I says, well, do your kids know about this? And she's like, no, they've never asked me. They've never talked about it. But just catching a story about Grandma meeting Grandpa while he was smoking cigarettes rolled up the pack at the roller skating rink really was
Gives me an idea for $1 million idea. I'm not going to share on the air, but I am going to share later. The first of the show, Adam, was bringing up customer service and some different issues, and you said you had something not to let you forget, and I let you go ahead and forget. Do you remember what that is?
I think it was about suing your mom.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I'm pretty sure that's
I know
what
people
it
are
was.
listening, and they're going to say Derek
No,
didn't let him get a word in edgewise.
It was suing your mom, because that was my story that I wanted to bring up.
Well, Adam, with that being said, I think that's another week.
All I can say is thank you for listening. I love doing this with Derek. We've kind of been, on the last couple months have been kind of crazy because of COVID, travel. We're getting back into tax season. Like I said, we are moving into a new studio, which I'm actually really excited about. So, Derek, thanks for doing the show with me for this long. I appreciate it. All of you listening, thank you. We see the numbers. We get the feedback. If you get a chance, if you haven't already, go on to any of the podcasts, the Stitchers, the Apple Scratchers.
Spotify now lets you rate 5-star or whatever.
Get us a rating. Help us get up there. Get some more people listening. And that being said, D-Roy, there are two things in life that are for certain.
And that'd be Deathpiles and taxes.
We're well within our rights to use this song. We're aware that preaching copyright is wrong. With lots of dedication